Let me ask you something serious. What's the very first thing you do after you wake up in the morning? If you're over 60, that seemingly harmless action could be quietly damaging your brain every single day. I'm not talking about missing your vitamins or forgetting breakfast. I'm talking about a set of morning routines so common that you could be doing them without thinking. And research now shows they may speed up brain aging, weaken memory, and even increase your risk of cognitive decline. The scary part is you won't notice the damage at first. It's not like flipping a switch. It's more like a slow dimming of the lights. At first, maybe you have a little more trouble finding the right word. You start walking into a room and forgetting why you went there. Or you notice you can't focus as long as you used to. And because everyone around you is getting older too, you just chalk it up to normal aging. But here's the truth. These changes are not inevitable. They are the result of daily habits that either nourish your brain or starve it. Today, I'm going to walk you through the most common morning mistakes that quietly sabotage your brain health after 60, and exactly how to turn them into brain-protecting habits instead. These are not extreme, expensive, or complicated fixes. They're small shifts that, over time, make the difference between staying mentally sharp and sliding into cognitive decline. The most important tip, the one that can reverse years of harm, is at the very end, so don't miss it. Here's why this matters so much. The first 60 minutes after waking are like the warm-up lap for your brain. Your body is moving from rest into action, your hormones are adjusting, and your brain chemistry is primed to set the tone for the entire day. If you feed it the wrong signals in that window, through dehydration, stress spikes, poor nutrition, or lack of oxygen, you start the day in a state that actually makes brain decline more likely over time. But if you use that same hour to give your brain the right inputs, you can improve clarity, memory, and even mood within weeks. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. How old are you? And what's the very first thing you do in the morning? Do you head straight for the coffee pot, check your phone, turn on the news, or something else? Write your answer in the comments. You might be surprised at how many people share your habits, and your response might be the nudge someone else needs to make a change. Let's start with one of the biggest and most overlooked culprits: skipping water and going straight for coffee. Look, I'm not here to take away your morning coffee. In fact, coffee in moderation can have brain benefits. But here's the issue. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, you wake up mildly dehydrated. Your brain is about 75% water, and even a 2% drop in hydration can cause noticeable declines in short-term memory and alertness. Now, if you immediately drink coffee, which is mildly diuretic, you're adding to that fluid loss before you've even given your brain what it needs to function. Think about a sponge that's been sitting out overnight. Stiff, dry, less flexible. That's your brain without water. The fix is simple. Drink a full glass of water within 15 minutes of waking before your coffee. If you want to supercharge it, add a pinch of mineral-rich sea salt and a squeeze of lemon to help your cells absorb it faster. The next habit is one that feels harmless, but is surprisingly toxic for your brain, first thing in the morning: checking your phone or turning on the news right away. The moment your eyes open, your brain is in a transition state, shifting from slower theta brain waves, which are linked to creativity and problem-solving, into faster beta waves, which handle alertness and focus. If you flood your mind immediately with stress, whether it's bad headlines, emails, or social media, you cause a spike in cortisol, the stress hormone. For older adults, repeated morning cortisol surges are associated with shrinkage of the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Over time, this means worse recall and more trouble learning new things. Instead of reaching for your phone, try giving yourself 20 minutes of a calm, screen-free wake-up. Open your curtains to let in natural light, stretch your body, and breathe deeply. This gently raises alertness without the stress hormone surge. Another morning mistake that slowly erodes brain health is eating a high-sugar breakfast. I'm talking about sugary cereal, white toast with jam, flavored yogurt, or pastries. These spike your blood sugar, and 2 hours later, you crash, not just in energy, but in mental clarity. For older adults, these glucose spikes are especially dangerous. They trigger inflammation in brain cells, damage the protective blood-brain barrier, and are linked to higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. In one long-term study, people with the highest morning glucose spikes had significantly more memory decline over 10 years. Swap the sugar for a breakfast that's rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Think eggs with spinach, Greek yogurt with berries and nuts, or steel-cut oats with cinnamon. These choices keep your blood sugar steady and feed your brain the nutrients it needs to make neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, which is essential for memory. Now, let's talk about movement, or the lack of it. Many people over 60 spend their first hour sitting, breakfast at the table, then reading or scrolling. The problem is, after lying still all night, your circulation is at its lowest. Your brain depends on steady blood flow to deliver oxygen and nutrients. If you stay seated, your brain is starting the day underfueled. Just 5 minutes of gentle movement, walking around the house, doing light stretches, or stepping outside, increases cerebral blood flow and wakes up neural pathways. Imagine trying to turn on a lamp without enough electricity. That's your brain without morning movement. Another common trap is skipping breakfast altogether. While some forms of fasting can have health benefits, for older adults, going without food until late morning can backfire, especially if you have any issues with blood sugar regulation. Low blood sugar makes it harder to concentrate and can trigger anxiety, dizziness, and even confusion. Your brain uses more glucose than any other organ, and it doesn't store it, so supply is key. Even a small balanced snack like a banana with almond butter or a handful of walnuts can prevent the brain-draining effects of a glucose dip. Here's a subtle but important one: staying in a dark environment after waking. Morning light is the main signal that resets your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock for sleep, mood, and memory. Without that light signal, your brain's timing drifts, making you groggy in the morning and restless at night. Over time, this disrupts the deep sleep stages that are essential for clearing waste proteins from your brain, including beta amyloid, the same protein found in higher amounts in Alzheimer's patients. Aim for at least 10 minutes of natural light exposure in the first hour, even if it's cloudy. Skipping mental stimulation in the morning is another missed opportunity. After sleep, your neurotransmitter levels are higher, making the morning an ideal time for brain challenges. It could be reading something engaging, doing a crossword, practicing a few words in another language, or even listening to a podcast on a topic you're curious about. Think of it like stretching before exercise. You're warming up your mental muscles for the day ahead. And finally, starting your day in a rush. Hurrying floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol, putting you in a fight-or-flight state before the day even begins. Chronic stress like this is linked to thinning of the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and focus. Waking up 15 minutes earlier can transform your morning from frantic to calm, giving your brain a healthy start. The common thread in all of this is that your brain is incredibly sensitive to what you do in that first hour. Hydration, light, movement, steady fuel, mental engagement, and emotional calm all work together to protect memory and keep your mind sharp. The hopeful truth is that it's never too late to change. Even if you've been doing these damaging habits for decades, your brain can recover. In as little as 2 weeks of making better morning choices, many people notice more clarity, less brain fog, and a better mood. Start with one change, water before coffee, a walk before screens, or a balanced breakfast, and build from there. Your brain has been with you through every challenge, every victory, every loss. Treat it with care each morning, and it will reward you with sharper thinking, steadier moods, and a longer, healthier life. If you found this helpful, like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from a brain-friendly morning routine. And tell me in the comments, which of these habits are you going to change first, and what topics do you want me to cover next?